come closer and hear my tale. A tale of a mythical creature that does exist, for I have seen it. It is real. It's a creature so bizarre, it almost seems to change forms. It may be called one size, but it's actually another. Don't be fooled by it. It goes by a name almost unmentionable. The ancients called it Wentworth. Wentworth! Wentworth!
There they are. 3 bolts. They all look the same. But on a Friday afternoon, when you're feeling kind of tired, chaos ensues. Can you tell which is which? Neither can I. My micrometers don't lie though. This one, let's measure. We're measuring in inches here. Oh, it's just right under half an inch. Right under it. Let's do this one next. This one is just over half an inch. And finally, this one is way over half an inch. But wait, there's more. This nut will go on here if I don't drop it easily. When I try to put it on this one, it goes like a quarter of a turn and jams. Same on this side. About half a turn before it jams. This one, same thing. So what's going on here? Well, it kind of goes on and then it jams up. Goes a couple turns actually. That's interesting. So what's going on with this? Why does it do this? What's all this craziness? This one is UNF, which is the American standard, which the American standard wrench fits on very nicely. Just a little bit of a wiggle in there just to be able to get it on. This one is metric. The wrench fits on, but there's not much of a gap. This one, the troublemaker, doesn't fit at all. It's too big. If I get a 13 millimeter, I could probably force it on there, but it doesn't go very smoothly. So, UNF, 13 millimeter metric, and this one is the Whitworth. Now, this is the oldest Healey I've worked on. It's a 1954. Season 1 was a 62 and the Sprite is a 68. At some point they started phasing out this standard of bolts in favor of this one. And then aftermarket, when you start getting weird stuff, you sometimes get these, because these are a whole lot cheaper than, you know, doing the original ones. So this is the first time I've seen them in the wild, buried deep within the engine on the clutch housing. So it was very interesting, you know. Late in the day, really just wanted to get the clutch off, and the damn socket wouldn't fit on there. So yeah, it's obvious if you know it. I had heard of them, I've just never seen them before, so it kind of threw me. But you know, when I get away from it, it makes sense. That's what it was doing. And on the plus side, I get to order some new tools. Just don't tell my wife. So last week we cleaned up the starter, but I wanted to run some more tests. One of those is just, putting some power to it and seeing what happens. When I do that, it spins slowly, but it's drawing a lot of amps. I don't know if you can read this on the battery charger, but it's almost maxing it up there. It popped the breaker on it, so that's over 10 amps under no load, and the alligator clips get warm. So turn that off. So that means we need to go deeper into the starter. So let's break it open. Right now I'm just going around to see if the brushes can move. Still drawing a lot of amps, but it's spinning a lot better. And blue fuse. So that's progress. What I had done, I had sprayed some cleaner in there to try and get some junk out. I think we'll go ahead and tear it apart now, just to make sure everything gets cleaned up. I did showed me that it should be drawing 7 to 12 amps pre-spinning, but that it should be running really fast when doing so. Of course it will draw much more amps once it's on the car and it has a load under it, but the amps that it's pulling is not too much, and it is spinning a lot faster than the first time we did this. So that's pretty cool. Next, we'll try it on the car. If it doesn't work there, then we'll go about doing something else. So this is a steering mechanism. Basically, the steering wheel goes on that end way down there, and then this connects to the arms that go out to the wheels. In here is a set of gears that transfer the energy from one direction to the other. To fill it up, there's actually marked oil, this bolt right here. So normally you take this off, and try to get this super thick oil to go in there. But because we have it out of the car, we're going to take off this plate. We'll be able to more easily fill up the oil, and then we'll put this back on. Wow. So there's no gasket on it at all, which that's no good. And it's pretty much absolutely dry in there. So we're going to make a gasket for it, first of all. And we're going to fill it up with oil and put it back together. Down here on the bottom of the steering box, the Stator Tube comes through here with wires from the trafficnator. It sounds like I'm not speaking in English, but I swear I am. Anyway, a tube comes through here, and there's a compression fitting that will bolt up here, and that keeps the oil inside the box. The Stator Tube and the trafficnator and all that have been taken out, and that's probably why all the oil slowly leaked out over 30-40 years. So for now, I just have a little piece of rubber I stuck in there on the end just to keep it sealed, so the oil doesn't come oozing out. And then when I put the trafficnator and the Stator Tube back in, I'll take it out and do it upright. I gotten several questions about what paint I was using on the differential. In season 1, I'd used rattle cans. I ended up using a whole lot of them, and they were kind of expensive, and they didn't put a very thick coat on, so I didn't feel it was very protective. So I was looking for something different. What I've ended up with is this Alpine. It's one of the name brands here. Alpina, I guess. Yeah, Alpina. This is a direct to rust paint, though I don't like to paint over rust. I prefer to sandblast it. It goes on pretty thick and creates a nice coating when it's done. It's a bit glossy for me, but it's okay. What have I got here? Well, it's the master cylinder for the brakes, because that's the only thing that the only master cylinder there is. I just got this nut, bolt, I'm not sure quite what it's called. I guess it's a bolt. It goes on here. It was very rusted on, so I had to, I oiled the heck out of it, heated it up, and used about a 2-foot breaker bar to get it to come off. And it snapped, and it really came off. I just ordered the rebuild kit for this, so when it arrives we'll be able to put it back together. Everything looks pretty good inside, so pretty much just gonna put it back together now and wait for the kit. This little thing's called the starter solenoid. Basically, it's a switch that's controlled by another switch. You have these big fat wires here. One goes from the battery and the other one to the starter. When I was first trying to start the car, this wasn't working, so I was bypassing it and going directly to the starter with the battery. This makes things a little bit easier. What I ended up doing, this part here had rusted in place, and that needs to move up and down. Basically, there's a magnet, so when you push the S button, it engages the magnet, it pulls this in, which then connects these two together and lets the power flow. So if we have positive earth here, and then we have the battery, the negative going up to the switch, we push that, and that pops in. Did you see that? So this is now working. That's good news. I don't have to buy a new one. I just clean this one up. These are the two, the brake and the clutch pedal. They go on the shaft that goes through the frame. I just wanted to note that you can see a little bit of the original color down here where the pedal's attached. It was originally black. So I'm a little tired of sandblasting brackets, so I thought I'd pull the generator off, and found these loose on the back. Not sure where they go or why they're broken, but it can't be good, so we're going to have to investigate that. It looks like it's for the brushes. Yeah, they're just kind of hanging out in there. There's no wires on them, so we'll see what we can do. See, there you go. These are supposed to wrap around and hold these brushes against the armature. But, they don't do that anymore. I wonder if it's possible to buy new ones. that's a whole nother subject. Here we got some of the coily bits stuck down in there. Hope those didn't do much damage when they fell in. Maybe it's a good thing the car didn't start up. Dirty, yeah, but it looks pretty good. This needs all cleaned up. Well, I do want to make sure this works before I spend the time cleaning it up. So I'm going to put it back together. I have found some interesting, the dark green engine color here, the original color. Just wanted to point that out. It's always hard to figure out the colors of things. We're going to try to kill two birds with one stone in this week's Say What? Over here is the starter motor. It's simply an electric motor that spins the engine around until it starts. Simple. The problem is it draws a lot of current, so you need a special switch for it, or a series of switches, and that's where this comes in, the starter solenoid. You have a small switch on the dashboard. When you push it, it activates this, which throws a bigger switch, so all that current doesn't have to go up where the driver is. It keeps you well away from it, and you can use a small amount of current to trigger such a big change. So your starter motor and your starter solenoid really work together to get things going. Pop the champagne, because we just did it. We just crossed the 500 subscriber mark. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for clicking that button. We have the best community on YouTube. You all are always there asking really great questions and giving me really great advice when I really need it. These cars are a lot of work, and I couldn't be doing it without the help of you. So if you're not a subscriber yet, click that button and join the best community on YouTube. If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want YouTube to tell you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Thanks for watching, and your support is very much appreciated.